Morning, Lucy.
Hi.
I think it's true to say that our members have got lots of concerns about Labour. That reflects what's happening across the country. We're pleased to say decided to nominate you and support you.
Well, thank you so much. I'm incredibly grateful to you and the union for recommending me. And I understand a lot of your members will be feeling disconnected from Labour and uncertain about some of the things that we've done, and they're not really that clear, like what is the purpose of this Labour government? Are they really on my side as a postal worker or as a post office worker or BT worker? So that's something I want to try and put right as deputy.
We were particularly pleased with your kind of response to the questions on the Employment Rights Bill.
Absolutely.
I think you know that our union was a kind of founding union of the New Deal for Workers campaign.
When I was in government, my job was to bring forward the legislation, to prioritise, to get the legislation ready. But then the next stage is all the regulations, because actually what that bill itself does is give the government powers to do certain things, but we've got to make sure the government actually takes those powers in the right way and then brings them into effect. So as the deputy leader, that's something that I will I will really push for that, to make sure that that is in the next King's Speech as well.
I believe that what the government have inherited is an economy that's founded on low pay, insecure work, and what I always term grotesque levels of inequality.
Absolutely.
And this bill goes, a big step towards starting to address those issues. I think we should just briefly talk about the issues with reform.
Yes.
Because clearly, what's happening in the country is will be reflected in members of our union and other trade unions, where there is probably a swing towards reform. The way I look at that is that I think that it's right that people have got legitimate concerns about illegal immigration and about the ability of a government to control immigration. And this Labour government is going to have to address that issue.
Yeah.
Equally, though, we are worried about what reform are proposing.
No, absolutely. I mean, I really strongly feel like we've one of the things we've done is we've seeded the agenda. We've let reform set the agenda for the last few months. When we're in government, we should be the ones setting the agenda. And we should be setting the agenda about what we think is really wrong with this country and how we're fixing it. And as you say, what is really wrong is a deeply unequal economy, particularly, but society sort of more broadly. And what are we doing to rewire that, to fix that, to really make the economy work in the interests of the many, not the few, if you like? Whereas, Farage wants us to believe that all the problems the country faces are to do with immigrants, and if we just rounded everybody up and shipped them out, that would make people feel better off. I fundamentally disagree with that, and it won't. Yes, of course, we have to show that we can control our borders, who comes in, who comes out, and who's contributing and who's here. That, I think, is a prerequisite for any government. But that's not our agenda of change, to be honest. Probably a lot of your members as well voted Brexit in the first place because they want to see this change happening in how their lives are working, and which at the moment are deeply unsure about their sort of futures and their income and everything. And that's what we've got to put right. And the Employment Rights Bill, for me, as well as some of the other good things we've done in this Parliament, like public ownership of the railways, public ownership of buses, the Renters' Rights Bill as well, making sure that people can't just have their rents hiked all the time. These are fundamental things that are changing the way the country works, but we're just not shouting very loudly about them, really.
No, we've got to do, I think you've said it, Labour's got to do a lot better.
Exactly, we've got to do a lot better. And one of the things I've said is let's get that megaphone back off Farage, and let's tell our own story about what's really wrong with the country and how we're going to get it back. And that's something I think I can help with.
Ultimately, I think what people are crying out for is to see that their families, their grandchildren, their children, younger people have a chance in life. And I look at the youngsters today, 2 or 3 different jobs, they have to share accommodation with. It's not right. And these are the real issues that I think Labour have got to do more to address.
I agree.
And, we're hoping that if you're successful in this campaign, that you're going to obviously push for that change in direction.
That's what I'm here to do, and to do that sort of proudly and strongly and, you know, authentically as well, because I think people want to know who is this Labour government, whose side are you on, and I think we've got to be a lot clearer about that, because otherwise that's why people do go to the extremes or do go to other parties, because they're not seeing that we're on their side, and that's something we've got to really put right quite urgently.
Well, let's hope you're successful.
Thank you.
And we're pleased to be able to nominate you as a union, because we know that you do mean what you say. You're going to try and push for this different direction. It's not going to be easy, and I think that's what you're up for. I think that comes across loud and clear.
Thank you. Thanks so much.